So you got Stephen Hunzeker right here. Now, Stephen Hunzeker has been the Rio Grande coroner for the last 3-4 years, and he's running for coroner again. And he's running against some woman named Laura Smith, a Republican named Laura Smith. He was brand new in 2018. He already had one term. Now he's running for a second term. And he wants your vote, Rio Grande County. He's running in the Republican primary. So for the Republicans in Rio Grande County, Colorado, it's Monte Vista, Del Norte, South Fork, Center. There's a La Grita. He is running against Laura Smith. Now, I didn't find too much information. I sent him an email, and I couldn't find Laura Smith anywhere. I sent a Laura Smith, but it was the wrong Laura Smith. The Rio Blanco County coroner, her name is also Laura Smith, but at least I ruled that out. So I thought that, she was a coroner in Rio Blanco, and now she's going to be a coroner in Rio Grande, but no, she's Laura Smith of the Rio Blanco coroner is going to stay right there in Meeker, and she's never been in the San Luis Valley, never been in Rio Grande County, and but she did have a really cool badge, a cool little signature. So, anyways, Laura Smith versus Stephen Hunzeker, both Republicans running for the Rio Grande coroner. I sent Stephen Hunzeker an email with 5 questions, just general questions. Now, Alamosa needs a coroner. So, right now in Alamosa, there's no Republicans nor Democrats who's running to be coroner. So, Alamosa is going to be without a coroner. So, I'm thinking that when Laura Smith or Stephen Hunzeker loses, then they could just, sail on over to Alamosa, since Alamosa County is needing a coroner. Without a coroner, if Alamosa doesn't have a coroner, then nobody's going to be able to identify the dead body. And there's a recall effort over here with DA Alonzo Payne not adhering to victims' rights. So the DA doesn't care about the victims. The coroners aren't going to be able to diagnose whether the victim, there's foul play or if it's a homicide. And then the coroner is the only person that has police powers over the sheriff. Or if the sheriff steps down, then it'll be the undersheriff or the coroner. So it's another Laura Smith who's running against Hunzeker, Stephen Hunzeker, and this is all information I'll be able to get online. So it's kind of, Laura Smith doesn't have a Laura Smith for coroner, Facebook page or Twitter. Or April 11th, 2018, the Board of Rio Grande County Commissioners met in a regular session. April 11th, 2018, members present were Chairman Gene Glover, Commissioner Suzanne Bothell, and Commissioner Carla Shriver, County Administrator Ronnie Wisdom, and Clerk of the Board Mona Sering. At 8:05 a.m., Chairman Glover called the board meeting to order. Commissioner Bothell gave the opening prayer. The Pledge of Allegiance was said. Mr. Dunn reported receiving a call from the county coroner, Stephen Hunzeker, regarding a Colorado Open Records Act request for autopsy reports from 2001 and 2002. These reports were not received from the former coroner, Rusty Strawmeyer. Mr. Dunn said he would speak to the attorney making the request to explore other ways to obtain the reports. So that was like the only thing I could find about Stephen Hunzeker. Apparently he had asked, I don't know, for himself or somebody else, for some autopsy reports. When he was asking Mr. Dunn, who the hell's Mr. Dunn, maybe the county, the lawyer or whatever, and said that these reports were not received from the former coroner, Rusty Strohmeyer. How come? Why don't we see the autopsy reports from 2001 to 2002 in Rio Grande County? So, Stephen Hunzeker, it's Monte Vista, 404 Morris Street, 811-719-852-3400. His office is 719-852-5748. The email address, rgccoroner@riograndecounty.org. Now, really, the coroner, they just say this is the cause of death, right? Sometimes the coroners have arrest powers as a check against the sheriff, and then sometimes they do coroner's inquest. where you have a big trial. It's a trial where everybody comes in and everybody kind of weighs in on what they think the cause of death of that person is. So the few questions I had asked was, is it fun being a coroner? Is it satisfying? How much of being a coroner is book smarts versus common sense smarts? How much education and or experience do you have in being a coroner? And do Colorado coroners have arrest powers? Now, I had answered some of my own questions. What are the qualifications for a person in Colorado to hold the office of coroner? Well, they need to be a citizen of America and a resident of the state of Colorado and of the county in which the person will hold the office of coroner, and they've earned a high school diploma or its equivalent or a college degree. So, high school diploma, college degree, be a citizen and a resident. Be a citizen of America, resident of the state and state of Colorado and the county. That's it. And that's it. Then it says a person who is elected or appointed to the office of coroner for the first time shall attend at the first opportunity after the election or appointment a training course for new coroners of at least 40 hours using the curriculum developed by the CCST board. And then it goes on and on and on. That's 30-10-601.5. So what are the qualifications? I mean, I guess how many years? 30-10-601. They're eligible if you're a citizen, a resident of the state and the county, and you've earned a high school diploma or its equivalent or a college degree. And I got two. I didn't get a GED. I did get a diploma. I did get a college degree. So Alamosa, if you need a coroner, just give old John Boy here a call. I'll be your damn coroner. Yep, that body is dead. See, I can do that. I can do it. Nope. No, he's just sleeping. That body there is not dead. Do not bury that body. I'd be a good coroner. I'd be a real good coroner. Now, they said there's a 140-year-old Colorado law that allows a coroner to assume the role of acting sheriff. Now, that's pretty remarkable, but I think it's fantastic. It's fantastic. What, the shitty sheriff is gone and we're going to put the undersheriff up there? Now, give it to the damn coroner. That makes more logical sense anyways. So, you have, let's see, McCormick has been the coroner for 20 years, recently ran for commissioner, unopposed for something different to do. He was sworn in for that job January 10th. Howard McCormick had 6 jobs: rancher, coroner, commissioner-elect, director of ambulance service, a flight medic, and then as of August, the acting Sedgwick County Sheriff. Sedgwick County Sheriff. So this is 2017, so this is 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Now, 5 years ago, Brittany Luton, the DA for the 13th Judicial District, it includes Sedgwick and 6 other counties, she unearthed a frontier era statute when they were investigating the sheriff. And the sheriff is Tom Hanna. So Tom Hanna is going to be charged with felony sexual assault, and then the coroner is going to take his place. Now, there's 2 different laws that compete with one another. Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock said there's another law that says that the undersheriff takes over when there's a vacancy. 30-10-505 says in part, when a vacancy occurs in the office of the sheriff of any county, the undersheriff of such county shall in all things execute the office of sheriff until a sheriff is appointed or elected and qualified. The real conflict here is there's one statute that says one thing and another statute that says another. 30-10-604 and 30-10-505. So they're right next door to each other. 505, 604, both are 30-10. Now the 604 says when there's no sheriff in the county, it's the duty of the coroner to exercise all the powers and duties of the sheriff of his county until a sheriff is appointed or elected and qualified. So that's, how about just have the sheriff and the undersheriff jointly run the damn place? The coroner and the undersheriff runs the damn place until they get elected, until somebody else is elected in their place. So people are saying Spurlock, Sheriff Spurlock, says he's going to be talking to the county sheriffs of Colorado, and he wants to change the law. He says the office of the coroner and the office of the sheriff are 2 completely different skill sets. I've got no skills to be the coroner, and I don't believe that most coroners have the training or the skills to be the sheriff. Those two offices should not be commingling their authorities. I think anybody should be ready to do any damn job when your county or your people are asking you for it. As for McCormick, he's okay to work a little less. After 4 months as a sheriff, he has simple words for the next one. I'm going to give him the same advice I was given by the DA. Here's the office. Don't mess it up. Since Hannah didn't resign, the county held a recall election to ask voters to decide if they want to replace him. The recall was successful. And then Larry Nuggebauer is the new sheriff of Sedgwick County. Okay, so that's some old news there. But you get to see that the coroner, not only can they arrest the sheriff, I mean, actually, everybody in Colorado has arrest powers, but the coroner can arrest the sheriff, but the coroner can take over for the sheriff. They can take the powers of the sheriff. So like I said, the undersheriff, but there seems to be a law that says the undersheriff, and, I mean, read those laws closer. Now you have the Colorado's Coroner Association, and then you have Ballotpedia. They basically say the same thing. One's shorter, and I'm going to read one and then the other. So the coroner immediately notifies the district attorney and medically investigates the body for external violence, unexplained cause under suspicious circumstances, when there's no physician in attendance, or where though in attendance, the physician is unable to certify the cause of death from thermal, chemical, or radiation injury, from criminal abortion, including any situation where such abortion may have been self-induced from a disease which may be hazardous or contagious, or which may constitute a threat to the health of the general public while in the custody of law enforcement officials, or while incarcerated in a public institution, when the death was sudden and happened to a person who was in good health, and an industrial accident. So we're supposed to notify the DA and then medically investigate the body when any of those 8 things happen. After the consultation with the DA, the coroner may request that jurisdiction of any such death be transferred to the coroner of the county in which the event which resulted in the death of the person of the court. Okay? It's a little bit of Ballotpedia there. The Colorado Coroners Association, the cause of death is the injury, disease, or the combination of the two. And what they have to do, the types of deaths that are reported to the coroner in Colorado, if there's no physician in attendance, the attending physician is unable or unwilling to certify the cause of death, the attending physician has not been in actual attendance within 30 days prior to death, all cases in which trauma may be associated with the death, such as traffic accidents, gunshots, falls, etc. This includes inpatients who have sustained fractures anytime in the past, deaths by poisoning, suspected poisoning, chemical or bacteria, industrial hazardous material, or radiation, all industrial accidents, known or suspected suicides, deaths due to contagious disease, deaths due to self-induced or unexplained abortion, operating room deaths, and deaths that occurred during a medical procedure, all unexplained deaths, deaths that occur in a healthy individual, deaths that occur within 24 hours of admission to a hospital or a nursing care facility, deaths in the custody of law enforcement, and deaths of persons in the care of a public institution. But that's a lot more comprehensive. The investigation of a death by the coroner's office is an extremely important function, as it's done by an independent agency who does not work for the law enforcement agency, the physician, the nursing home, the hospital, the prosecution, or the defense, but works on behalf of the deceased to obtain the truth about their death. Get to the bottom of it. Why did they die? Don't lie. Don't lie. Say why they died. So that's some of the responsibilities of the coroner. That's some of the responsibilities of the coroner. Anything else? No, that sums it up. So even though I had nothing to report, 14 minutes.